Hello friends, welcome back. My name is Tumitladi. Listen, if you haven't subscribed yet, I'm gonna urge you to subscribe. There's a good content right here. And if you have any question, any comment, use the comment section below and just leave your thoughts there. If there's something that you wanna know, for me to clarify, listen, I'm here to do just that. So, in today's video number 14, we're gonna look at the busy indicator, how I went about it in .NET Maui, right? So let's get started. So if I go to cover the shoe underscore mobile project, I want to go to the views folder and I want to go to the content views. I haven't been here in a while. And as you can see, there is a file called busy indicator, right? It's a content view. So there's a difference between content views and content pages. And I do have the app running right now. Well, the emulator, I will just fire the app in few minutes. Right, so now what is this guy? That's all. 39 lines of code of the content on the content view, right? So the first thing that you need to understand is this, it's content view. It's not a content page. Now, the content view, what's different about it is this skier. There is a package, right? So let me show you the dependence for Android and then packages. There's a skier sharp extended .ui.maui, right? So there's something that you need to make this happen. So the version that I have is 2.0.0 preview 92. Probably there's a steady version at the time of the recording. So, but just know that I need that and reference skier. The background color is this color, and I'm using absolute layout, right? And then I'm using if it's visible. This is very important, and I'm binding it to busy indicator underscore is visible. So remember, this takes in true or false, a boolean value, right? Then I have a stack layout, and then this horizontal options I feel expand, vertical, and meaning I want it at the bottom of the page. Then I have another stack layout, right? Now this one's gonna have a background color. Remember, this background color is the entire view, but this one, it's different. It's gonna have a different color, which is color body. I used to hover and I will see the color of it. It used to show here. Okay, orientation is vertical. Then I have the skier SK Loti view, right? It's an animation enabled, right? So this is how it works. In order for me to say yes or no, if the state of a base indicator visible, this will be true. If that one is visible, then the animation will be enabled. Again, is it supposed to show yes or no? Then the source, there is a file, it's a JSON file, load underscore loading. So where do you put these files? If you go to resources, believe is it raw? Yes, raw. So this one loading. So there's loading JSON. Just drop it in the raw folder, and then both the Android and Maui and iOS and Maui will pick it up, right? And then repeat count -1. Just do it indefinitely. Restart mode, restart, and then the width and height is 100. Background color is transparent, right? Then I have a label. Now the label will just have a text. Now the text color, it's blue, it doesn't change, but the text, it's something that changed. It will get the value from message underscore base indicator. So these are the contents of what will show when this content view loads, right? So what about the code behind? Is there anything? Let's see. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Just know that it inherits from content view, right? Good. So we close that. So how do we make use of it? So let's go to one of the content pages, setup page. And I want to show the content page that this one, obviously the tag is content page, right? Good. So now in this content page, how do I ask for the content view to appear on top of this page? So the way I do it, I'm going to reference I'm going to go to the namespace and then the project. I'm going to go to the views and content views, right? Once I'm inside that folder, I'm just going to give it a friendly name, say show busy indicator, right? the namespace. Then where do I make use of it? I'm glad you asked. You see, I have absolute layout. And I believe all my content pages are absolute layout, in case you're wondering, right? So this is the entire content of this page. It will be inside of this stack layout, right? But just underneath the stack layout, then I have a comment that reminds me, hey, this is where we have a business indicator, right? So I say show business indicator, and it will give me access to business indicator view, right? Then it has only one property. Should it be visible on this page, yes or no? So depending on, again, the state and the status of business indicator underscore is visible, only then it will show. So what on earth is this business indicator? Where do I get this value? Right, I'm glad you asked. Another thing to note is that this business indicator doesn't reference anything of the view models or whatsoever. It doesn't. Oh, this is the color I was looking for. I know it's supposed to show the color. Okay. It doesn't, like, there is nothing. So how on earth does it know? So now we said, let's start here, right? We said that this will need some value from business indicator. So how does it know about it? It's because of the view model. So let's start with the code behind, right? So the setup view model, right? We'll get to this file. This is it, right? Private static setup view model. And in the constructor, we do a lot. One of the things is that we are binding the context to this setup view model. So that means we are linking the page to the view model. And then I have access to this guy, right? Because this gives me access to it. Right, good. Now what happens if we click this button? Let me launch the app in the meantime. So this is a setup page. What happens when I click here, continue, right? So let's go to that method. Here it is, button clicked, right? So if we press this button, it's async void. One of the things that it's gonna do is gonna be these two things. Remember that the underscore setup view model, it gives me access to, before we get to it, let's go to the view models. Setup view model. So setup view model has the only thing, which is if you click here, read more info, it will take you somewhere else, right? It will open the browser, built-in browser. But I don't care about this guy. I care about that this setup view model class, literally, it inherits from base view model base. Now, if we go inside the base view model, right? I have a couple of things, couple of properties, in fact. So where are they? So under properties, right, I have those that belong to base indicator. So one of them is, I'll probably make a video about observable property, like this attribute, if you want to know what this is, because you're going to see this a whole lot in .NET Maui. Now, public bool base indicator underscore is visible. I'm starting off to say false, right, to don't show right away. So, but it starts with the lower b. Like I said, it's part of observable property. That's the first one. It's the of type of boolean. By default, it's false. Then I have the second one, which is property of type string. The name is message underscore business indicator. That's all you need to know. There's nothing else. I just have these guys. That's all. So this is what we do, right? When we get to the button clicked, this button clicked. So what I do, I say this, listen, once the button is clicked, make sure that it's no longer enabled. That means you can't interact with it. It's one of the things as a developer you need to make a decision on. If you decide to put this content view at the top of the screen, some people, they do that on the apps or at the middle of the screen. Make sure that the user doesn't press again. Like I said, I'm a developer, so I like to temper and attempt to break into apps in a sense that, like, I find some bugs, some weird stuff. So one of them is that when the user has clicked here, it might take a few seconds for the content view to show the business indicator, but the user might be tempted to click the button again. So what we do is that we disable it, right? Good. Then we say underscore setup view model, give us access to that busy indicator and say true. And then when we are done, I'm going to say set up a view model. I need you not to give me access to the message. I want to assign something to it. So all my messages, they live on a class called global variables called loading message underscore for startup underscore for version updates, because I'm triggering version updates. Right. So let's check this quickly. Stop my alarm. Okay. So what is this message? The message says it's gonna show like this, right? It's a string loading, and I'm gonna do next line. It's gonna say please wait while we check for new updates. That's all. Then what it's gonna do afterwards, right? It's gonna go, and for iOS, it's gonna delay for 10 seconds. Oh, there's a reason why, because of the way I pin for connectivity for iOS. That's the reason why. But generally, just go and try to connect it to cover the shoes servers, right? Good. And then because it's calling this method, I'm not going to get into this method, right? I'm not going to get into this method. It's going to do this whole thing. And is there where we're disabling it? Because once you show and say true, there has to be a way for you to disable it. If I'm not mistaken, there we go. So let me tell you how we get it inside check a version updates. Just a lighter version, right? We're disabling the button. We are preparing the state for business indicator to show, and we are gonna show the message, and it's gonna show. If it's iOS, we're gonna wait for 10 seconds. Generally, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna call this method try CDS connectivity, which is this method. Check the state of the internet connectivity. And if I say true, that means I'm running for the first time. Like I said, I'll make a video, right? I'm gonna do all of this. I'm gonna pin for Android to check if we have connectivity for iOS and all that. Even if there's an exception, because I'm trying that. If there's exception, I'm gonna cause the device to vibrate but continue, right? And then it will come this side. If we were able to do our things correctly, because either way, if the connection was found, right, it's gonna go and check. It's gonna call this method to check version updates. Then I'm hoping it's gonna go and really check, connecting to the caching, go to the web API if there's a need. If you look at this method, there's no way we are disabling it because we need to try to do the work first, right? And once we are done, outside try and catch, we're gonna say underscore setup view model, that dot base indicator, I need you not to stop showing that. After everything, even if there's an exception in here, even if there's exception, and then we're gonna go to no connection page. Before you go to no connection page, because I've learned this is gonna go and redirect the user to a no connection page if there's exception. Or if it's successful, it's gonna go to startup page. Or it's gonna take you to version updates. But I've learned on this line, or this line, or even this line, or this line, this will still execute because it needs to get outside and finish the call of this method, which is stop it. Yes, you're gonna navigate, but stop it. So let's do that. The app is running. Depending on how long it's gonna take, whatever it's gonna do, because I just launched it to prepare the emulator, right? So if I click, you see it says loading, please wait while we check for new updates. Then it's finished. So this is a startup. And I'm gonna close the app again. And I'm gonna relaunch it again. So whatever scenario, where should we redirect the user to, make sure that you disable that. You see how quick it was? Because for the first time, it checked for version updates. The second time, it works with the caching, meaning that it remembers that, hey, we don't really have to check for the new updates for the next 24 hours. Or for the next 24 hours, we don't need to. But after 24 hours, then we're going to go and try to pin the web API. Before we talk to web API, we need to check, do we have the connectivity to pin the web API? And if there is a connectivity, let's check it. Do we have the newest update? Do you understand? If not, then just go to whatever page, but we're gonna dismiss that base indicator. I hope this makes sense. Again, let's do that. So having to do this is performance's sake. I can even launch from here. This is performance's sake, do you understand? To make it easy. Done. And did you see something? Let me do that slowly. Please pay attention to this. Did you see that it shows that button, but it was disabled? I hope this was very informative and helpful. But this is something that I want to show, because this is something that's very important. Content view, you put it on top of content pages. And remember, this is reusable. This content view, it's reusable. Even if you click login, if you go somewhere else, you're gonna keep on seeing content view, specifically of business indicator. But I also have a connectivity view. I'll make a video on that. I hope you found this video informative, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and leave any positive comment, or if you have any question. Until next time.